Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to another recording of AER Memories of Old. Interesting that my controller, doesn't seem like it wants to control. That actually is a pretty common thing in Unity games and games in general, is that on PC if you move the mouse and keyboard, half the time the controller won't take over control. It seems like there's no standard interface there. Sometimes it's helpful a little bit because it means that you can bump a mouse on the table and not immediately lose control of the game, which I've been known to do, and often I'll have to turn my mouse upside down so it doesn't accidentally register movement. But it's clearly not a completely standardized interface switching procedure. So we did at least half of this temple, if not a third of this temple. And then it took us a couple tries to get to this point. And this is the, I'm guessing, moon side of the sun and moon temple, which is how I'm going to describe this. Yep. Moon side. We've got some more of this red writing that apparently was being taught to children. Read part 1. There's a lot of reading part 1s around here. When the world was still new and the creator had drawn the lands, the spirit animals gathered to talk. The fox said, "There are new animals around. They walk on 2 feet." A crane said, "A new bird?" The fox shook its head and said, "They have no wings." The monkey said, "I have seen them too. They are without fur. They cannot climb well." An owl said, "They fear the night and drive it away with fire." The otter said, "They build nests on the land, but they are not one with it." The deer said, "They are loud and do not know how to walk in the woods." A bear said, "This is way too long. They are like cubs who do not know the way home." The fox cocked its head. "Yes, that is why we have to help them." There's too much dialogue here that doesn't make a lot of sense. Look at the number of symbols, by the way. Like, this looks kind of like a spin on a coded language more than a real language. But if it were something that was pictorial like Egyptian, then the symbols wouldn't be this unique. And even if the symbols were this, well, they're not unique, they're kind of uniform, and it kind of looks like Braille. But even if each one of these square symbols was a word, there's still more words in the English translation here than what you're seeing. So each square would have to be like an entire sentence or an entire phrase. So, continuing reading, "Help them, question mark." The other animals looked stunned. "Yes," the fox said, "their minds see eternity, and they are lost and afraid. They need something to hold on to, or they will harm themselves, the lands, and us," the fox said. "What do you propose?" asked a hare. "I propose a pact," said the fox. "If one of them can talk to us, we offer him the bond with the land." The fox continued, "If he accepts, he can take the shape of one of us, and the one he made a pact with. And he will be one with the land and can still see beyond the veil. He can guide and guard his people, and so we all will be at peace," said the fox. So, did I make a bond with a bird? That's why I can transform him into a bird? Am I going to make a bond with some other kind of animals? It'd be interesting if you could turn into a fish and swim through all those water areas. That would explain why they exist. The other animals saw the wisdom in this and agreed to it. And so some humans can become one with the world, and those chosen were called whisperers. So I guess I'm a whisperer. If this is a gate that opens, which it seems like we will get in there at some point, it seems like you'd have to jump to reach that point. Again, we are very much running into a scenario where the game gives you some different directions that you can go. I don't know if I want to even go down where the mushrooms are, because A, I'm not sure I can get back up easily, and B, I'm a little bit afraid. Not a lot. We haven't seen anything that's really hurt us or killed us. And this looks like a control panel that's not powered. So, seems like we're gonna have to power maybe this post, which will then power some other posts before we can cross. Right. Yeah, if you could turn into a small land-based animal, you might be able to squeeze into some holes, but I haven't really seen any holes in the game, so that's questionable. If you could turn into a fish-based animal, you might be able to swim in the water. So unless maybe there was a way in which you could have a water walking ability and use, say, the use that to freeze the waterfalls and climb them. I don't get that. Well, it'd have to be either the ability to walk on water or freeze water to climb it. These fishes still very much feel like they are just getting randomly placed. Everything still feels like it's half a concept of a level design. Quite frankly, this game is just too ambitious for a brand new company to try and do. Yeah. So, are we just powering things? Seems like I can only do a couple of things with that. If I was to jump down there, could I get back up? Feels like this game should definitely have a ladder. Like we should be seeing more ladders to climb back up. Okay. I think I kind of get what we're doing here. We have something that will do quarters, something that will do slightly different variations of how much it can spin. So yeah, that would not do anything, but if I went the other way, yeah, that kind of invalidated our actions before. So So this is a half spin, which will do that. And it kind of feels... Oh, maybe we're supposed to align everything to the moon, and it's just that simple. Before we do that, let's jump over here. So, this is supposed to be an exploration-based game. Feels like there should be something we do here. And the way back up is here. We saw a frog. And here's another little rat or squirrel or whatever. Feels like I might have to go back to all these areas. Alright. So I'm just gonna turn everything to the moon side and see what happens. Let's see. And the question I suppose would be, do you want balance or do you want light? Alright, so everything's at moon, and that wasn't good enough. Your camera angle is an issue, certainly. Because you either look up yourself or you have to use one of these markers. So I think we were closest at this point. And then let's just leave that there for that one. There we go. And as soon as we get it, the system just turns off, so we are left knowing that we did the right thing. Again, I don't think there was a reason why you would have always ended it here. But if there was a ladder to go through that, that would have been nice. Yeah, it seems like you could probably solve the puzzle on any of those inputs. And there's no real reason that would have had to jump back this way. Other than to just work your way around. And this feels like it's an exit section. Like, I bet a speedrunner could probably clip into the wall over here and make a jump over to that part and potentially save themselves a lot of time. This might be a game that is kind of viable as a speedrun, but it's slightly questionable whether that's really going to do anything because of just the level of... Alright. So this is another one of another stupidly easy puzzle that you really shouldn't be able to screw up. Yeah, it kind of feels like the Forgotten Key company didn't have the right people on their team. It seems like they had, assuming that this character model is new, which one would hope it was, they probably had a artist that could do character model, this one character model, and some of the others. And they can't even really do faces with this little polygon. And then they had, obviously, somebody who at least thought they were a level designer, although I complain somewhat about the level design that they've made. And how you kind of seem like you go in circles. Let's see. Seems like we're gonna have to run all the way around and spin this. So I'm not gonna try and jump. And I don't, if I fell down there, I'm not really seeing a way back up. Okay, there is a way back up. Let's jump. Let's do our due diligence, try to make as much entertainment out of this as possible. But yeah, I think they dropped the ball by not having somebody who's a little bit better with video game sound design, somebody who knows anything practically about video game gameplay mechanics, story writing. They obviously dropped the ball on localization. I swear I saw a rat. I really need some meat. Wouldn't that be funny if the main theme of this game is you should be a vegetarian? I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case, though. If there is an actual main theme here. Now, if I had wanted to jump on these big mushrooms, I'm not sure I can reach any of them with this floaty jumping. Yeah. So I don't know if you fell on top of one, what would really happen. Here's another person who was crushed. Seems like a lot of people got killed with people watching. So, okay. We found a couple more of those, but in all honesty, I heavily question whether I'm gonna find everything. Not without a map, which, by the way, we haven't gotten a map. We haven't gotten like a Zelda-esque compass that points to the final location, which would have been actually very helpful. That is something I think Zelda games, when they start thinking from that perspective and saying, oh yeah, we need this character to find the map pretty quickly and figure out and know where the general direction of its final destination is, it helps the level temple design better. And of course, we still kind of feel like we're gonna have something with these yellow things. Be kind of weird if the yellow things were an indicator of where you could transform into some kind of other creature. I'm looking down here to see if there's anything, because I just don't want to fall down there. This is interesting. This feels like an invisible wall. Yeah, just straight up invisible walls. I guess maybe there was a shortcut that could be taken that way that they didn't want people to take. Although I don't know what particularly that would be. It would just be a slight shortcut to this point, or maybe you could jump over to that. I'm just being rather finicky. Now we've seen these doors, That feels like a monster closet where some kind of shadow monsters could appear and start chasing you. But I don't think we're gonna get that far. And this is just a knocked over statue and there's nothing else here. See, the reason why there is a rug or log or whatever that is supposed to represent is here just because they didn't want that to be inescapable, but apparently they were unwilling to change the geometry layout. You know, oddly in games you never really get any stories of, oh, this one person was in charge of making the video game and then they quit halfway through. It's gotta happen, certainly, but things and drama like that often are hidden, and let's face it, in the video game industry, a lot of people are so overcommitted that they allow themselves to be abused in their jobs and will stay to finish the project regardless. So if you have an unfinished game where a lot of people quit and it actually cannot be finished, it usually still gets finished by somebody, or you have the case of somebody took the money and ran in so many Kickstarter examples. This here might have been the first time that I'd been in the sewers had I not found the sewers before. Interesting that I actually slid there. And it's actually pushing you so you can't go back up one way. And it's pretty obvious that the only way to jump is over to this side. And what do we have here? Seems as if the door has been stuck for a very long time. I wonder if there's anything on the other side. So this looks like it's a key door that we're never going to access. Suppose there could be something interesting around the concept of going through temples and then maybe having to come back later and find sections that are blocked off, no longer blocked off. A time travel mechanic certainly could be used to achieve that. But I imagine that's not the case here. This is just another door with the key symbol. Although maybe more lines than the key symbol is for the key I have. Still haven't done anything with the water, the benches, or anything else. And this platform doesn't do anything? I can't help but feeling like I'm just getting suckered into doing a lot of work for no real reason. Just looking for a lot of stuff that isn't going to help. And so we're back to the... we went full circle and we're back to the main door tomb. Okay. And there's nothing different here. And it feels like we're walking outside, which is kind of weird. Is this going to give us a mechanism to change day to night? And are we going to have to come back here every time to do it. Like, that's clouds, that's outside. Why would we not have been able to fly here? Okay, that does not look like a crater and save guiding hands. That looks like I'm about to fight a boss. That is spooky. Fish, water. I mean, this might be a safer incident than it seems like. Looks like the door closed behind us too. No, I don't want to go. Yeah, that doesn't seem safe. What if we were to jump? No, it still can't transform. So I guess we're gonna talk to this thing. Boy, does that not resemble anything recognizable. Come here, little bird. A very long time ago, your people addressed me as the Temple Guardian, sitting at the border of dusk and dawn, ensuring safe travel on the paths to the lands of dreams and back again. Even after the Great Divide, I was there, watching as your priestess Kara led her people to safe shores here in my temple. A long time have I waited for this moment to come. I've grown weak, but for the power I was lent, tethering me to your world. Listen carefully, little bird. Once again the void has awakened with great hunger, this time to devour all those left of our world. This is really loud music, but there's still a chance to stop him. The Priestess Kara hid 3 fragments of great power, 1 in each temple. You have to make the 3 fragments 1 again. I will give you the part I was given for safekeeping. Without it, it will fade into oblivion. It has been my link to this world since the time the gods were lost to the minds of men. But we cannot wait. Please accept my fragment and finish what was started long ago. Notice how finish what was started long ago is highlighted in red, almost as if I could bring out a mouse cursor by moving my mouse and click on that to get some kind of hyperlink, but that certainly isn't actually the case. I just moved the mouse and it just switched the keyboard mouse input. In fact, we haven't seen any kind of in-game dictionary or glossary or history to justify what's happening there. So the hands collapse together and break. So assumedly, that creature went either to a different universe or died. And here we have a flash of the void again. And we're fading to black. And that camera was all up in our butt. So I still can't do anything with the B button. And this section is now collapsed. So if I was to go back to this temple, doesn't feel like I can do anything. So this is just a fast travel, very Zelda-like, that's going to load us, I imagine, to the front of the temple, if not maybe the shrine directly. Yeah. So we're on Twilight Lake, and there's no way to get back into this temple. It is completely consumed with the void. So unless there's a new game plus, or some way that we can potentially destroy the void and still fly around and explore, we're done. Yeah, we're done with that temple. There's 2 more. It doesn't feel like that was super long, but it was probably about an hour for me. I assume we are supposed to fly back to the lighthouse and then get more description. We can see in the map section there is like 1/3 of this symbol and a key. So I probably am gonna have to find another key to get into the next temple, and I'm gonna have to find the next temple. But we'll do that in the next recording. That's gonna be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.